a whiskey glass. My heart it holds ashes falling. The night's grown old, midnight ashes burning slow, falling down where the shadows go. Can't stop the time, can't stop the flow. The smoke curls like a broken dream, lost in the jet. The longest dream, a bitter sip. Life ain't what it seems. Oh, the hours whisper so. Their hands won't let me go. Midnight ashes burning slow, falling down where the shadows go. Can't stop the time, can't stop the flow. Like honey on fire, every chord pulls me deeper, higher. The piano sighs, the guitar hums on, and I'm left here aching alone. Tap soft on the window pane, a whispered rhythm, a lover's refrain. The night so thick it could drown my name. A glass of amber, it holds my past. Each sip slower, shadows cast. The clock's not ticking, time moves fast. Pour me another, let it last. Midnight glass, midnight glass. The world spins slow, the die is cast. Midnight glass, midnight glass. The keys they linger, a mournful sigh. Guitar strings bending, they wonder why. And I'm stuck here too tired to lie. Fingers trace the edge of pain, lost in echoes, soaked in rain. Pour me another, let it last. Midnight glass. Spin slow, the die is cast. Midnight glass, midnight in my whiskey as the night begins to fade, and the shadows in the glass start showing choices I made. The slide guitar comes in behind me like it knows just where I've been, tracing echoes of the sins I swore I'd never taste again. This bar has kept my secrets buried deep beneath this floor. Every stool a little witness to the things I can't ignore. If confession had a flavor, it would taste like bitter rye, burning holes into the silence. Every time I try to lie, there are shadows in the glass, dancing slow across my pain. Every swirl another story that my soul can't quite explain. If the truth could find a rhythm, it would fall right into place, leaving fingerprints of sorrow on the edges of my face. Shadows in the glass, taking up my space. My heartbeat sounds like footsteps from a life I left behind, but the blues keeps pulling memories from the corners of my mind. That one in the doorway was a storm I couldn't tame. Now her ghost sits in my whiskey, whispering gently through my shame. The guitarist bends a note that cuts me deeper than her words, while the drummer taps a heartbeat only broken men have heard. And I feel the night collapse beneath the weight of what I've done, like the darkness took my choices, and the choices always won. There are shadows in the glass, telling truths I never speak. Every sip becomes a sermon that grows louder every week. If tomorrow brings redemption, let it wait another night, 'cause I'm drowning in the flicker of this dim and borrowed light. Let these strings undo the pieces of the man I swore I'd be. Pour the night a little deeper, let it swallow what's left of me. There are shadows in the glass, and they know me far too well. They remember every story that I never choose to tell. If the dawn comes sharp and certain, let it rise without me here. Shadows in the glass, keep me company, my dear. all the nights I tried to quit, but the fire in my chest keeps dragging me right back to it. The slide guitar is moaning like it's begging for relief, while the shadows on the counter trace the outline of my grief. The bartender see me falling from 1,000 different heights, pouring mercy by the ounce through all my slow and ruined nights. If redemption ever found me, it got lost along the way, 'cause the blues keeps calling louder than the promises I pray. Ashes on the bar, burning like a dying flame. Every spark of broken memory whispering my name. If the truth comes down to choices, then I chose a falling star, and I've scattered all that's left of me like ashes on the bar. My hands are shaking steady like a man who knows he's done, like I gambled something sacred and the devil said he won. There's a tremble in my voice that wasn't there a year ago, but the whiskey fills the cracks where all the weaker parts still show. The harmonica is crying like a widow at a wake, and the drummer taps a heartbeat only regret knows how to make. I keep looking for forgiveness in the bottom of this glass, but I find another version of the future I let pass. Ashes on the bar, drifting with the quiet air. Every piece of what I lost is still sitting right there. If the night could grant me mercy, it would meet me where we are, trying hard to gather what remains beneath the scars. Let the strings confess my story, let the dust reclaim my pride. Pour the night a little stronger, let the past stop asking why. Ashes on the bar, blowing faintly in the night, like reminders of the moments I was too afraid to fight. If tomorrow comes to find me, let it find me as I are, just a man among his shadows, laying ashes on the bar. She walks in like a whisper, floating through a midnight haze. Eyes full of quiet thunder, heart stuck in forgotten days. The band plays low behind her, like they know what she's been through. And the slide guitar is weeping, like it's crying just for you. Her hands wrap around the glass, like she's afraid it might let go. And the smoke around her silence tells a story soft and slow. Every breath she takes is heavy with the weight of what she's lost. Every step she makes reminds her what that love had cost. The smoke in her silence, burning like a memory, and the blues in her voice is a truth she lets you see. If heartbreak had a rhythm, she could play it in her sleep, leaving shadows in the corners where her secrets learn to keep. The smoke in her silence, and it cuts in way too deep. The bartender keeps watching, knows exactly why she's here, knows the stories in her footsteps and the ones she hides in fear. She ain't asking for forgiveness, ain't expecting second tries, just a night to hold together what tomorrow will disguise. The guitar swells up behind her, spilling sorrow on the stage, and her voice comes like a whisper, born from heartbreak and from rage. If you listen close enough, you'll hear her pass beneath the chords, where the promises were broken long before she drew her sword. There's smoke in her silence, drifting like a morning hymn, and the light behind her shadow flickers low and slowly dim. If tomorrow brings her mercy, she'll accept it if it comes. But tonight she pours her truth into the ache of quiet drums. Her voice trembles like a lantern in a storm she never chose, but she sings until the broken parts stop showing through her clothes. The smoke in her silence, and it's dancing with her pain. Every note a small confession that she never could explain, but she owns the night completely as the shadows intertwine. The smoke in her silence, and its heartbreak turned divine. This cold room feels like quiet, singing low inside my bones. Every voice a quiet echo from the nights I spent alone. The slide guitar is mourning like a proud without a name, and the blues keeps creeping through me like a slow and quiet flame. My shadow on the table looks much older than I feel, like the years have taken mercy while they stripped away what's real. If the truth had something better, it ain't ever come my way. So I learned to live with silence in the corners where I stay. In this cold room quiet, every ghost has got a tune, and they sing it soft and steady 'neath the watchful hollow moon. If salvation had a whisper, it would drown beneath the fire of the lonely hymns I'm humming with this cold room quiet. Bartender leaves me space, like he can hear what I can't say. Knows the blues has carved its gospel in the lines I wear today. The harmonica is distant, like a warning in the rain. Then it trembles through the rafters like a shadow dragged by pain. I'm a stranger to forgiveness, though I chase it every night, pouring truth into the darkness till it burns out all the light. If tomorrow gives me comfort, let it meet me where I've been, with a voice among the silence singing sorrow like him. In this cold room quiet, every memory has a voice, and they echo through the whiskey like they never had a choice. If redemption never calls me, let it linger and conspire with the broken songs I'm singing in this cold room quiet. Just a whisper in the darkness, trying hard to stay the same. If the dawn decides to find me, let it rise a little higher, till it drowns the fading sorrow of this cold room choir. This cold room choir. There's dust on the strings, there's odor than the stories in my chest, and the slide cuts through the silence like a truth I can't suppress. The bar is barely breathing, just a hum of broken nights, where the shadows keep their distance from the thin and tilted lights. I trace the past in circles through the bottom of this glass, hear the echoes of a failure I could never quite surpass. If forgiveness had a doorway, it's a place I never found, just a road that keeps on wandering through the outskirts of this town. Dust on the string, humming out the years I lost, every note a quiet reckoning, every memory a cost. If redemption starts in whispers, let it whisper through these things as I bleed another story through the dust upon the strings. The bartender looks tired, like he's lived 1,000 lives, pouring truth in little measures just to help a soul survive. The drummer taps in gently, like he's careful with my pain, and the bass rolls like a thunder that the night can't quite contain. There's a woman in a memory that the music pulls apart, like the slide guitar is digging out the splinters in my heart. And I feel the room grow quiet as the song begins to swell, like the blues found out my weakness and decided not to tell. Dust on the strings, singing what my voice won't say, pulling ghosts from every corner, laying sorrow on display. If tomorrow brings me mercy, let it wash these fragile things till there's nothing left but ashes and the dust upon the strings. upon the strings. Tell the night I'm holding on to the little bit of truth that hasn't vanished in the dawn. If the darkness keeps me honest, let it cling to what it brings. I'll keep singing through the heartache and the dust upon the strings. I've been burned down to the ember, where the truth can finally speak, where the whiskey tastes like memories and the nights run long and bleak. The harmonica still lingers with a cry I can't outrun, like a witness to the choices that the daylight comes undone. Slide guitar steps gently, like it's walking on my doubt, and the drums begin a heartbeat only sorrow soars out. If tomorrow brings me answers to the scars I try to hide, let it find me in the ashes where the fire used to reside. Down to the embers, glowing faint beneath the pain, barely holding on to warmth before the cold comes back again. If forgiveness has a fire, let it spark and catch December, 'cause I'm flickering in the darkness, burning down to the ember. Slow, like he's afraid I'll disappear, like the smoke around my shadows been collecting through the year. The blues has carved a chapter in the corners of my bones, where the verses keep returning like familiar undertones. I keep searching for a reason not to drown the night in flame, but the whiskey knows my secrets and it calls them each by name. If the truth had any comfort, I would hold it close and tight, but the ember's glow is fragile in the middle of the night. Down to the ember, hold me while the hours fade, till the smoke becomes a shelter for the choices that I made. If tomorrow brings me mercy, let it warm what I remember, 'cause I'm tired of falling deeper, burning down to the ember. Down to the ember, barely breathing in the dark, still I cling to every flicker, like a worn out dying spark. If the dawn decides to find me, let it rise a little tender, while I lie among the ashes, burning down to the ember. hollow floors, remembering every weight I tried to hide, every footstep that I carried when my hope had slowly died. The piano keeps on humming like it knows the way I feel, playing chords that sound like promises I never kept for real. The bass slides in behind it with a heartbeat slow and deep, and I swear the room gets colder when my memories start to creep. If the truth could find a melody that matched the way I fall, it would sound like this old piano painting stories on the wall. The hollow floor blues echo with the life I blurred, every note a quiet confession of a truth I never heard. If regret had any mercy, it would rise and let me choose, but it keeps me where I'm standing in these hollow floor blues. The bartender wipes a glass like he's been doing it for years, never rushing, never speaking, just a witness to my fears. The slide guitar sighs softly like a friend who understands, and the drummer taps a rhythm made for worn and weathered hands. I feel the room grow smaller as the sorrow settles in, like the shadows took position where my soul has always been. If redemption has a lantern, it's too dim for me to see, but the blues keeps burning steady through the cracks inside of me. Hollow floor blues haunt me like a faithful ghost, singing truths I should have listened to before I lost the most. If tomorrow brings forgiveness, I might finally break the news, but tonight I'm drowning deeper beneath hollow floor blues. Hollow floor blues wrap around me while I fade. Let the sound of all my failings fill the silence that I made. If the dawn comes calling early, let it pass without a clue. I'll be somewhere in the shadows of these hollow floor blues. Lanterns at closing time flicker soft against the wall, casting shadows that remember every rise and every fall. My voice slips through the silence like a whisper dressed in blue. 'Cause these stories that I'm holding are too heavy to undo.
The slide guitar beside me sighs exactly what I mean, tracing heartbreak in a language that remains forever seen. If the truth could find direction in the smoke that fills this place, it would follow every teardrop down the corners of my face.
Let the music keep me steady when the world starts closing in. If tomorrow comes with mercy, let it wait until I climb through the fog of all my memories and these lanterns at closing time. The bartender knows better than to ask where I've been hid. Sees the tremble in my fingers that the whiskey never rid. Every chord the pianist offers feels like mercy in disguise, like a promise from the darkness that the dawn won't criticize.
My heart's a worn-out journal with its pages torn and stained, filled with battles that I fought alone and losses unexplained. If forgiveness has a rhythm, it's the one I can't rehearse, but the blues keep spinning comfort through the verses of my curse. Lanterns at closing time flicker where my fears align. Every glow a small confession I could never quite define. If the night could hold me closer, I'd surrender every line to the warmth that gently settles through these lanterns at closing time. Gentle watch on me till the sunlight dulls the echoes of the ghost I set free. If the dawn begins its climb, let it rise on its own time. I'll be resting in the ember of these lanterns closing time.
I'm miles from my own name, wandering roads that never end, where the stories that I carry way too heavy to defend. The guitar starts humming gently like a friend I used to trust, while the miles behind me settle into quiet, The bar is like a refuge for the men who lost their way, where the blues paints every silence in 100 shades of gray. If redemption had a footstep, it'd be somewhere close behind. But I'm running from the truth I never found the strength to find. Whoa, miles from my own name, drifting far from who I was. Every highway keeps on asking why I left and what it does. If forgiveness waits in shadows, I might greet it all the same. But tonight I'm nothing more than miles from my own name. Taps a heartbeat, steady, tired, worn out thin, and the harmonica sighs softly like it knows where I have been. My voice cracks like an old floorboard where the secrets settle deep, and the memories I buried are the ones I couldn't keep. There's a woman in the distance with a ghost inside her smile, and she haunts the quiet corners of each half-abandoned mile. If she ever hears my story, she might pity where I roam. But a man who's lost his name can't ever claim a place called home. Whoa, miles from my own name, wondering where the shadows stay. Every choice becomes a landmark for the roads I walked away. If the night reveals my failures, let it do so without shame. 'Cause I'm still trying to stop being miles from my own name. Slowly in the dark, where the echoes hold my history and the embers leave their mark. If the dawn decides to find me, let it search without a claim. For tonight I'm just a stranger, miles from my own name.
Whispers in the whiskey rain that fall against my skin, like the echoes of the secrets I have carried deep within. The harmonica is mourning like a story left untold, while the night collects my silence and the shadows growing cold. My voice betrays the tremble of a heart that lost its way, like the storm behind my ribs won't let the thunder fade away. If the rain could wash the memories that I never learned to face, it would leave me with a gentler version standing in my place. Whispers under whiskey rain, singing truths I can't contain. Every drop a soft confession, falling slow against the pain. If forgiveness starts with weather, let it break this wall of shame. While I'm hiding from myself beneath the whiskey rain. The bartender lights a candle like he's trying to warm the storm, and the slide guitar comes crawling like a hand that once was warm. The blues sits down beside me with a knowing kind of grace, as the shadows on the floorboard start to mirror my embrace. My reflection in the window looks like someone I once knew, someone braver, someone brighter, someone easier to undo. But the woman that I've turned into is carved from darker days, and tonight she lets the rain rewrite her edges in new ways. Whispers on the whiskey rain, trembling through my tired frame. If tomorrow brings me sunlight, I might learn to breathe again. But tonight I'm seeking shelter from the fire and stain, in the arms of all these whispers under whiskey rain. Let the storm rewrite my heartbeat to a quieter, safer song. If the dawn decides to find me, let it wash away the pain. 'Cause I'm learning how to listen under whiskey rain.
Blue velvet ashes on the table where I sit, like reminders of a fire that I never could admit. My voice drifts through the quiet like a ribbon torn in two, painting sorrow on the floorboards in a tender shade of blue. The slide guitar responds gently, and like it knows the way I break, as it wraps around my secrets with a mercy few can take. If the truth is soft to edges, if forgiveness had a tune, I would hum it through the darkness like a fragile afternoon. Blue velvet ashes falling where the silence keeps every ember like a memory that the whiskey never sweeps. If tomorrow brings me healing, let it wait until it passes through the choir where I'm gathering these blue velvet ashes. Bartender wipes the counter like he's polishing the past, and the blues hangs in the doorway where my innocence was cast. My heart is like a lantern that's been dimmed by too much rain, but the glow inside still flickers through the corners of my pain. A laugh I used to cherish echoes soft across the air, like a ghost made out of perfume, made of longing, made of prayer. And I feel the night grow darker as a memory crashes, like a shadow falling silent in these blue velvet ashes. Blue velvet ashes gather softly at my feet, everyone a small confession from the parts I can't defeat. If the wind begins to tremble, let it carry what it catches, till I'm lighter than the weight of all these blue velvet ashes. Whisper truths I couldn't say, let the night rewrite the moments that I let slip far away. If the dawn decides to know me, let it do so in flashes, as I rise up from the embers of these blue velvet ashes. There's a crack in the hallway light that spills across my shoes, like a spotlight on the pieces of the man I stand to lose. The bass hums low behind me, like a thought I can't escape, and the shadows keep on stretching, like they're trying to match my shape. My voice is barely steady, but it's honest when it breaks, like the truth is set on surface stories by the choices no one makes. If forgiveness had a doorway, I'd be standing in its glow. But I'm drowning in the hallway light that shows what I don't show. Drowning in the hallway light, seeing who I've come to be. Every flicker holds a story that was never meant for me. If redemption starts at sunrise, I'll be lost before it's bright. 'Cause tonight I'm sinking deeper in the hallway light. The slide guitar moans softly, like a warning in the dark, and it echoes every failure that has left its quiet mark. The drums come in so gently, like they fear they'll make me fall, and the room grows small around me, like a half-remembered call. A photograph that haunts me lies awake inside my chest, of a man I thought I'd turn into, but never reached his best. If tomorrow finds me empty, let it meet me out of sight, where I'm drowning in the shadows of the hallway light. Drowning in the hallway light, hearing truths I keep inside, seeing ghosts beneath the rafters where my younger self once tried. If the dawn begins to question what I lost along the fight, let it whisper to the quiet in the hallway light. Watching moments rearrange, every glow a soft reminder of the parts I couldn't change. If the morning comes to find me, let it guide me back to right. But for now I'm drifting slowly in the hallway light. Where the low lights fall, I'm a shadow half awake. inside the quiet, with more choices left to make. The guitar hums like a lantern that is burned too dim to shine, and the truth sits in my whiskey like it's waiting for a sign. The night drips slow like honey from a bottle left to rest, and the slide guitar is reaching for the ache inside my chest. If redemption has a whisper, I've been listening through it all, but I've only heard my heartbeat where the low lights fall. Where the low lights fall, I'm a ghost of who I'm meant to be, holding tight to broken moments that refuse to set me free. If tomorrow writes an answer, let it hide behind the wall, 'cause tonight I'm just a shadow where the low lights fall. The bartender shakes his head like he's seen this all before, sees the stories in my footsteps as I walk across the floor. The blues keeps pulling memories I buried deep and raw, and the scars show through the cracks in every truth I thought I saw. A woman's laugh from long ago drifts across a faded room, like a flower pressed in silence that refused to fully bloom. And I feel her like a whisper that I never could recall, like a name the dark remembers where the low lights fall. Where the low lights fall, echoing the man I've been. Every chord, another chapter, I keep reading once again. If tomorrow brings salvation, let it hold me when I crawl. But tonight I'm staying right here where the low lights fall. Fall, let the quiet take its place in the corners of the barroom where I lost my younger face. If the dawn comes soft and tender, let it find me after all, resting with my shadows where the low lights fall.
There's a slow fire in the back room where my stories like to hide, where the heat curls through the shadows like a promise left at night. My voice slips through the embers with a quiet, smoky tone, like I'm speaking for the pieces of the woman I outgrew alone. The slide guitar comes creeping like a whisper on the flame. And the blue sails beside me like it knows me by my name. If redemption has a corner in this room of muted scars, it's the glow behind the fire where I trace my broken stars. A slow fire in the back room, burning softer than my pain. Every spark a small confession I've been scared to say again. If tomorrow brings me courage, let it rise through soot and bloom, till it warms the quiet corners of this slow fire in the back room. The bartender takes his time, like he's weighing every pour, like he knows the heat behind me is a truth I can't ignore. The bass keeps humming steady like a lullaby for scars, and the guitar pulls down the ceiling with its long and aching bars. There's a memory beside me that the flames refuse to drown, of a man who held me gently just before he let me down. If the night could hold my shadow, it would tuck away the gloom, but it dances with my sorrow in this slow fire in the back room. A slow fire in the back room, writing stories on my skin. Every flicker like a warning of the truth I hold within. If the daylight ever finds me, let it chase away the doom, but tonight I'll warm my heart beside this slow fire in the back room.
Where the sand meets bourbon, echoes in the night, and the stars hang overhead like they're too tired for the fight. My voice rolls through the stillness like a whisper left behind, tracing heartbreak through the desert where the dust rewrites the mind. The slide guitar reminds me
Of a truth I couldn't tame, and the blues comes walking slowly like it's looking for my name. If forgiveness had a shadow, it would move the way I feel, crawling through the desert silence where the wounds don't fully heal.
Sand and bourbon echoes, drifting where my fears survive. Every note a wind-blown promise that I barely keep alive. If tomorrow brings redemption, let it cross these empty meadows, where I'm wandering in the quiet of the sand and bourbon echo. My footprints fade behind me like a past I can't defend, while the bass begins its heartbeat, steady low and near the end. The drummer taps a warning, like he's cautious with my pain, and the harmonica comes sighing, like a soft and distant rain.
A shadow of a memory moves across the battered sky, of a man who said he loved me, then forgot to tell me why. But the desert doesn't argue, it just holds what no one knows, and I'm held inside the echo, where the whiskey slowly glows.
Sand and bourbon echoes, carrying what I can't say. Every ghost I lost in daylight finds his voice along the way. If the dawn begins to shimmer, let it warm these weary throats. In the whispers of the canyon where the bourbon echo flows. Sand and bourbon echoes linger where my heartbeat stays, till the storm inside my chest begins to loosen from its ways. If salvation finds me someday, let it rise where sunset goes.
Through the quiet, through the shadows,
in those sand and bourbon echoes.
There's a tremble in the way behind my voice tonight, I swear, like it's dragging every memory through the smoke that fills the air. The guitar taps out a warning, like a pulse I can't ignore, and the truth sits in my throat like it's been waiting at the door. My heartbeat sounds like footsteps from a life I left behind, and the blues cross through my chest like it's been reading through my mind. If forgiveness had a hallway where a man couldn't make a choice, I'd be searching through the shadows for the weight behind my voice. The weight behind my voice is heavier than what I've lost. Every word a quiet bargain that I struggle with the call. If redemption's in the distance, let it steady what is poised. 'Cause tonight I feel the burden of the weight behind my voice. The slide guitar begins to cry, like it's confessing every sin. And the bass rolls like a whisper that's been gathering within. The bartender knows the tremble when a man has had enough, and he pours a little deeper when the truth comes out too rough. A photograph inside my pocket burns a hole beneath my hand, like a chapter left unfinished from a book I couldn't stand. If tomorrow gives me courage, I might rise up with the noise. But tonight I'm drowning slowly in the weight behind my voice. The weight behind my voice, echoing the roads I chose, every failure, every secret, in the sound of what I froze. If the dawn brings revelation, let it shape another choice, till I find a gentler truth beneath the weight behind my voice. Tremble till I heal. Let the night reveal the stories that the whiskey helped conceal. If redemption ever hears me, let it listen past the noise to the quiet man still searching in the weight behind his voice. Lights up the moment that the slide guitar cuts in, and the crowd leans off their bar stools like they're ready to begin. I've been drinking down my worries chasing ghosts around the floor, till the blue sparks up inside me like a storm I can't ignore. Let my boots tap out a warning, yeah, the night's about to break, and the rhythm in my heartbeat knows exactly what's at stake. There's a fire in the liquor and a truth beneath the flame, and the Barstool Lighting hits me when I hear them call my name. Barstool Lighting, strike me where the shadows wait, set my voice on fire, let my heartbeat elevate. If redemption's in the rafters, let it fall on me tonight, 'cause I'm wrestling with the darkness till I drag it into light. Barstool Lightning, hitting me when it's right. The harmonica is wailing like it's begging for release, and the bass is making promises it never plans to keep. The drummer taps a warning that the night won't end too soon, and the whiskey stains my conscience like the back end of a tune. I ain't running from my demons, they've been drinking here for years, but I learned to keep on playing through the rust and through the tears. If the blues is just a bargain with the truth you can't deny, then I'll sing it till it breaks me or it lifts me to the sky. Barstool Lightning, lift me from the things I hide, shake the dust from all the corners where my better angels died. If the thunder follows after, let it rumble through my bones, 'cause I'm standing on the fault line where the hurt becomes my home. Barstool Lightning, hit me one more time tonight. Let the blues burn off the shadows till the guilt turns into light. If tomorrow brings me sorrow, let it wait until the day, 'cause tonight the Barstool Lightning's gonna carry me away. walks in like a whisper, floating through a midnight haze. Eyes full of quiet thunder, heart stuck in forgotten days. The band plays low behind her, like they know what she's been through, and the slide guitar is weeping, like it's crying just for you. Her hands wrapped round a glass, like she's afraid it might let go, and the smoke around her silence tells a story soft and slow. Every breath she takes is heavy with the weight of what she's lost. Every step she makes reminds her what that love had cost. There's smoke in her silence, burning like a memory. And the blues in her voice is the truth she lets you see. If heartbreak had a rhythm, she could play it in her sleep, leaving shadows in the corners where her secrets learn to keep. There's smoke in her silence, and it cuts in way too deep. The bartender keeps watching, knows exactly why she's here, knows the stories in her footsteps and the ones she hides in fear. She ain't asking for forgiveness, ain't expecting second tries, just a night to hold together what tomorrow will disguise. The guitar swells up behind her, spilling sorrow on the stage, and her voice comes like a whisper, born from heartbreak and from rage. If you listen close enough, you'll hear a pass beneath the chords, where the promises were broken long before she drew her sword. There's smoke in her silence, drifting like a moaning hymn, and the light behind her shadow flickers low and slowly dim. If tomorrow brings her mercy, she'll accept it if it comes, but tonight she pours her truth into the ache of quiet drums. Her voice trembles like a lantern in a storm she never chose, but she sings until the broken parts stop showing through her clothes. There's smoke in her silence, and it's dancing with her pain. Every note a small confession that she never could explain. But she owns the night completely as her shadows intertwine. There's smoke in her silence, and it's heartbreak turned divine.